Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town, of New York town.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets at Rub with another Mets Spring Training Talk live right here on the channel. Hopefully everybody is doing okay. I am officially back in New York after my little vacation stint in the start of spring training in Port St. Lucie. We got to game 4 today, and we're going to go over all the notable players that we have been looking at. We have been talking about since day 1 of spring training, and we're going to get all into that. But make sure you hit on that like button, and if you're a new subscriber of the channel, say what's up in the channel. You'll get a shout out. Just wanted to introduce my new official new logo for 2024. It is a little bit of a combination of the old channel logo and a little bit of a new look to it. Got a little bit of city skyline, got a little bit of the Mets logos going on there, a little bit of a fiery eye type of look and everything like that, and a little bit of a notice of it has the YouTube logo and the Spotify logo. Starting very, very shortly, I'm gonna put all of my recordings into audio form into Spotify. A lot of people have been asking me for that, especially when I was in spring training. A lot of people like to actually listen to Spotify or listen to episodes without watching a video, and they want to listen to it through Spotify or other platforms as well. So I will be doing that very, very shortly. So as soon as I get that up and running, and you can start listening to the episodes, so all the live streams I do, the videos that I'll be doing, all that fun stuff throughout the season, it will be on other platforms as well as just a simple audio that a lot of people were asking me to do, and I'm finally going to give it to you guys. So I do appreciate the feedback on that, because not only do I want you to check out the videos and the live streams, but if you didn't catch everything, it is a little bit easier to get the audio form than anything else. I agree, Explosive, exactly. You know, a lot of people like to download the episodes, and they can listen to it on the train when there's not a lot of service sometimes. So I just hope I can bring that to you soon. As soon as I get going, this one will probably start to be on Spotify. Once I set everything up, I'll let you guys know. So, all right, guys. So we got game 4 of spring training today. The newly acquired Adrian Houser was on the mound for the New York Mets today, and he pitched well. And again, I'm not going to go crazy and make it a big scene like, oh, he's going to be our ace or anything like that. We're not going to go that far. But what I like to see and what you want to see from Adrian Houser is what you got today in the 2 minutes he did pitch. A lot of ground balls. I think it was 4 out of the 6 batters hit ground balls. That's what he's known for. He throws a heavy ball. He's a guy that he doesn't throw very hard, but he is a guy that throws a heavy ball. It's somewhat hard to get on under the ball, so that's why you see he produces a lot of ground balls, and that's something that you want to see. When he's not going well, guys will be driving the ball in the air. When he's on, he will get that ball on the ground. And with the defense that we have in the infield and the defense around the whole field, that's what you want to see. And it was a very nice first start for Adrian Houser. Again, he's going to be a big, crucial part of this rotation. And I talked about this over and over again till the cows come home. These type of pitchers are so necessary for a successful rotation because not only do they give you innings, but especially this guy that's a veteran guy that just is a professional pitcher. He goes out there every day. Is not going to wow you with his stuff, but he'll give you 5 innings, the occasional 6, maybe 7 once in a blue moon. He's not going to, throw no hitters. He's not going to, strike out 12 batters in a game, but he will give your team a chance to win every single time. And yeah, he'll have his bad games, but he'll also have his gems as well. What you want is from your 4th or 5th starter in Adrian Houser is a guy that gives your team a chance to win every 5th day, and he can provide that. That's why when people like, oh, Adrian Houser, he was the throw-in. No. Adrian Houser was the deal. Tyrone Taylor is the icing on the cake for that deal. We practically gave up nothing. So Adrian Houser is going to be very important, and the show, what I wanted to see from him today is exactly what his scouting report says, exactly what you want to see from a guy, especially in a bigger ballpark like Citi Field. You want you want these guys to keep the ball in the ballpark, and if you can keep it on the ground, even better. So once again, guys, just tuning in. Welcome to the Mets Spring Training Talk Live. Make sure you hit on that like button. I'm officially back in New York, as you can tell by the background. I'm not in some creepy looking hotel background with bad lighting, but I am back again, and Chris is there in the chat. What's up, buddy? How you doing? And it was a lot of fun. Before we get into the game today, it was a very interesting thing. I really wanted to do a ton of content. It is very hard to do live content at Clover Park or any stadium. For some reason, stadiums and even minor league ballparks, they don't have Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi to actually, do that live content, because you're going to get the grating content, the little bad audio, the bad light. It's just really bad. And it's really annoying because I really wanted to bring you guys just the vibe of the ballpark, my view and all that fun stuff. I did it a little bit last year. The video wasn't great. The audio wasn't great, but I didn't want to bring bad quality. It's just it's a hard listen. It's a hard watch, and I didn't want to do that to you guys. Robert, hopefully you do enjoy it next week, and hopefully it stays the weather that I had. I had some good weather. It was in the high 70s, which is very nice. But yeah, guys, I do apologize for that. Again, I do have some videos that I'm going to be editing that I'll just show you guys around the ballpark and stuff like that. So you get a little bit of idea, if you haven't been down to spring training, what it looks like and what the feel is around Clover Park. So, all right, guys. So Adrian Houser was very good. He pitched 2 innings, as you can see on your screen. 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. I think it was 4 out of the 6 batters he faced was ground balls. That's what you really need from Adrian Houser. He's going to be a big part of the back end of the rotation. And I said this time and time again, if you got 3/5 of your rotation pitching every 5th day, which acquires at least 75% of health, you have a chance to have a solid bullpen solid rotation that gives your team a chance to win. And you look at it last year when Jose Quintana came back from his injury late in the year, all we had was Quintana and Senga going out there every 5th day. It stabilized the rotation, even though, Mo, Larry, and Curly were your other 3 starters in your rotation. It still gave your team a chance to win at least 2 out of the 5 starters every 5th day. And that is very important. And that's why I know the Senga situation sucks, but you still got Jose Quintana. You got Severino, who has been putting together a nice couple of throwing sessions, and he did live batting practice as well. He looks sharp. He looks healthy. Again, that can change rather quickly, but again, at the moment, he's healthy, and that's all you care about, right? You got the Adrian Houser that we just talked about. Who's going to be that extra spot in the rotation for Senga right now? I wonder if it's going to be McGill. Is that possible? We shall see. Again, I think that's really up in the air. Could it be Joey Lucchese? Could it be Jose Buto? We'll see. I think it'll be very interesting to look over the next couple of weeks of who stands out to fill that spot at least for the current moment, at least for a month. Because obviously Senga got shut down for 3 weeks. He can't throw for 3 weeks, so that pushes him really about a week before opening day, and then he's got to go through his 5-6 week program. So you're probably not going to see him until May. So that's unfortunate for the Mets, but that's why they got a ton of depth. That's why they brought in guys that are guys that are low risk, high reward, guys that can give you some innings here. Sean Manaea is another one. He's a guy that can give you innings. He might not be the greatest pitcher in the world, but he is a guy that will still give you the 5 innings, quality starts, 2 runs, couple of hits. That's a lot of the guys that you have in this rotation right now. And what you got to get a lot of support from the lineup. And that's the most important thing that we have to understand, right? We can talk about the pitching all we want, but the core of this team, and there's no denying it, there's no secret about it. The core of this team is Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, and Nimmo. These guys need to perform. These guys need to be the guys that carry this team on their shoulder. They need to step up. They need to do their jobs. They can't have a June like they had last year. They can't have, a June and July where they really weren't that good, and then they came on in August and September when it didn't matter. This team, this lineup needs to score some runs. This team needs to score about 4 to 5 runs per game. Even with the Senga, if he was in the rotation, that's what they need to do. And there's no reason why this offense cannot do it. You got a guy like Marte, who is looking healthy. Again, hasn't really played. He hasn't played yet, but he is getting ready to go, and I think he's going to be playing in the next couple of days. Brandon Nimmo hasn't played yet. They did this last year to keep him healthy. They're doing the same type of regiment that they're doing with Marte, or same plan that they're doing with Nimmo, what they did with Marte in spring training early. So that's what I like to see, that they actually have a plan going forward with these guys that have been injury prone in their career. And that's what you want to see, that they have a plan. And that's important. So, you got a lot of guys here. Mark Vientos didn't look good today. Had a tough go of it with the bat. What is Brett Baty going to give you? There's a couple of guys, Tyrone Taylor is, Bader is the same thing. He's on another plan where he's on the Nimmo Marte plan as well, where they're slowly getting these guys ready without playing them, giving them a week to just get back in the groove of things. And then probably sometime next week, those guys are going to get starting times in the lineup. But you're going to see a lot of these guys that we've already seen. The notable players on the right are the hitters. Notable players on the left are the pitchers for today. And obviously, we just talked about Adrian Houser. Solid start. What you wanted to see is what you got. Ground ball pitcher, a guy that's not going to blow people away. He's going to give you starts like this. I guarantee you the majority of his starts are going to be 5 innings, 2 runs, occasionally 6 innings, 2-3 runs. That's what you're going to get. And that's more than enough from a guy that is going to be a back into the rotation guy. So notable pitchers that we've been talking about a lot during the offseason, guys that have shown up, opened up some eyes in spring training that weren't really talked about throughout the offseason. And first, we're going to start with Jorge Lopez. We know Jorge Lopez was the Baltimore closer a couple of years ago, was outstanding, had a really, really rough year last year. And he didn't start off as good as probably people like, right? First pitch, a ball went over the wall. It wasn't a good start, but, he settled down a little bit, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. Wasn't bad. Wasn't, nothing special. He gave up a walk, gave up a strikeout. This is the guy that was very erratic last year, and is something that you have to be very, very careful with him, because he's got to cut down on the walks. He's going to get his strikeouts because of his stuff is so good, but he's got to cut down on his walks, and that's the most important thing at the moment. The guy who's shining the most in the arms that could be a potential bullpen piece going into opening day, and it is Nate Lavender. This guy has just been outstanding, probably the best pitcher that has pitched over the last 4 days, and that is Nate Lavender. Another inning pitch, another strikeout. I think I put a home run there. That's a mistake. But no earned runs, and that's a mistake. That's a little typo there. There was no home runs there. But it is very interesting to see with him as well is that he's just doesn't throw hard, right? But if you look the way he throws, look how many guys were late on his fastball. And he was throwing 88, 89, 90 miles an hour. And and you can tell by the late swings of his fastball is that he hides the ball well, right? He has a little bit of a slow motion coming out and then explodes and doesn't throw very hard, but he confuses the batter. That fastball creeps up on hitters. He keeps that fastball letter high, which is important because if you don't throw that hard, you want to. When you get a high fastball, it looks a lot faster and it comes at you a lot quicker than it might actually seem miles per hour wise. And that's another important thing. But he hides the ball well. You know, he's a guy that could take one of these bullpen spots. You know, there might be 2 or 3 available. I'm going to go with 2 right now. And one of them is going to be for the long. There are going to be 3 spots available most likely. One of them is going to be a long man, and the other 2, I think it's one of these guys are going to take a Drew Smith spot, and then the other open spot as well. So Nate Lavender has shined so far in the bullpen, and his 2 outings were outstanding. 6 up, 6 down. Very, very good. Yaxel Rio, same thing. He's another one that has shown very good signs. 1 inning pitch, I believe. Yeah, he did give up 1 walk, but again, really did really well. Another guy that has great stuff that has shown very, very well. And he's another one that I think has opened up a little bit of eyes as well. A lot of my friends are talking about him on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. And that's something that we're going to really have to look at, because if you look at the last guy I put on the list, Michael Talkin, there was other pitchers that pitched today, but I wanted to focus on the guys that are very possible could make the bullpen going into opening day. Michael Talkin, another one that we saw last year in the Mets bullpen, a decent outing, 1 strikeout, 1 hit, 1 inning pitch. Looked pretty good. He's another one that's kind of a fringe guy. I'm not 100% sure if he does have options, but again, he's another one that it could make this could make the bullpen, and it's going to be very interesting. Again, it's only 4 games into spring training. You know, the guys that we're looking at right now, like Nate Lavender and Yaxel Rios, you know, they can be good over the first 4 games and then be bad the next 4 games. You know, let's just hope they keep on trending in the right direction and make their job, make the coach's job and the front office job harder to not put these guys on the opening day roster. So that is good to see. And Sanders, I appreciate logo is creative. Yeah, it wasn't easy to make. I promise you that. Well, Deron, listen, I'm not going to go with playoffs or non-playoffs yet. Again, wait until the roster is set, and then we have a better idea of what we're going to bring to opening day and through the season. Meech, you know what, though? When it comes to the Wi-Fi, though, there's enough ways to do it. Like, schools do it, universities do it, like, you know, jobs do it, companies do it, you know, so they have ways to do it. And it's just that I don't know if they don't want to pay the money or they just want to just not do it for security reasons, which is always possible. But yeah, it is kind of annoying when you're trying to do some content, but hey, it is what it is. We deal with it. I deal with it, and I'll just do the best to bring you content when I can as well. So yeah, I'm not going to go crazy with these outings, but again, Nate Lavender, you can see the stuff, and it's not only what he's doing right now, right? It's what he's done in his small sample size in the minor leagues, right, for the year and a half, right? He was in rookie ball and jumped all the way up to AAA, and he's had really good numbers throughout every parts of the farm system. And when you do that and you have good numbers throughout the farm system, and then you're showing in big league camp, in spring training right now, this is a guy that just might have something here who doesn't throw hard, right? This is a guy that doesn't get noticed very much unless you're really paying attention to a guy like that because he doesn't throw hard. But because he's a lefty, he has that a little bit of a funky motion. He has that little hitch before he throws the ball. His body explodes to the plate when he releases the ball. And it is very interesting to think that a guy that throws 88, 89 miles an hour is looking as good as he is. But you know what? When you got hard throwers throwing everywhere, and you bring this guy in who throws about 6, 7 miles an hour left than everybody else, it's a different look for the hitter. And again, his fastball looks a lot faster because a lot of these guys have been late on his fastball. Whatever he does, it's working. Either he's hiding the ball or his explosion to the plate gives that little bit of a indifference to the batter that make them late on his 89 miles an hour fastball. Hey, I'll take it every day of the week. So once again, guys, we're here at Met Spring Training Talk Live, back in New York from my little vacation in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Fun times, good times, always a lot of fun down there. And again, I advise everybody, if you do get a chance to go and get your chance in the morning to go to the backfields. It's a great experience to get up close and personal to a lot of the players. A lot of the players talk to the fans, sign autographs, and all that fun stuff as well. And you might even catch a ball or two during some batting practices in the backfield. So let's go to the hitters. That's the other notable players of today. Tyrone Taylor has shown why he's going to be very important for this team as a fourth outfielder or possible starter based on injuries with the Bader, Nimmo, Marte. He's going to be very important to this team. Even if all three of our starters are healthy in the outfield, Tyrone Taylor is going to be very, very important as your fourth outfielder, coming off the bench in a big spot, showing his little bit of power. He's been outstanding. I think he's batting about 500 this year in spring training. Again, a couple of games, not going crazy, but you always got to look. Tyrone Taylor's been damn good. And he's another one that knows his place, plays well, is a professional ball player, and he's not going to, ruffle some feathers here or anything like that. He's going to do his job, and these are the type of players you need, especially on your bench, who knows his role. And he's just a professional ball player, and he's got some sneaky power where he can come off the bench if you need a big power back coming off the bench. He can surprise you with that power right there, and I think that's important to realize. Again, Ji-Man Choi hit a shot of a home run today. He's been playing well with his opportunities in spring training, has been a little bit better than Luke Voit. And I don't know if the Mets are going to go that Ji-Man Choi route. But again, DJ Stewart is a guy that I don't think he has a guaranteed roster spot. And I have no problem if it's Ji-Man Choi, Luke Voit, or DJ Stewart. Whoever wins that job, I give it to him. Right, I'm sick and tired of giving guys the jobs because of what they did last year. It means nothing to me, right? I want a guy that has proven in spring training that he was doing well, and you should get the job. It's just that simple, right? DJ Stewart can go back to the minors, has options. Ji-Man Choi and Luke Voit. And this is another reason why I think either Ji-Man Choi or Luke Voit is going to get that, is going to get that roster spot, is because minor league deals, split deals, those guys can opt out at a certain point if they don't feel like they're going to get called up to the big leagues. I don't think the Mets want to lose that depth, so there's a pretty good chance that Ji-Man Choi or Luke Voit is going to get one of those roster spots. And it might suck for DJ Stewart, but DJ Stewart has an option. And in this case, you don't lose any of these players, and you still have them in your organization for at least a good amount of time. And whoever wins that job, and this is why Ji-Man Choi and Luke Voit are probably going to get that roster spot, because DJ Stewart has that option, and you're not going to lose DJ Stewart if you send him down to the minor leagues. He is there in AAA just in case. And that's the other important thing to look at when it comes to Ji-Man Choi, who's been good so far in spring. And another one who me and Chris have been talking about. And during our roster projection show, we talked about Alex Ramirez being a dark horse here. Alex Ramirez has been proven why he was a top 5 prospect not too long ago. A lot of people have soured on him. He's been creeping lower and lower in the top 10, top 20 prospects, not even in the top 10 anymore in certain top 10 prospect lists. Fact of the matter is, Alex Ramirez is a guy that has all the tools. He is a 5-tool player. If he can harness that and put that all together, he can be a really good player for this team. Can play all 3 outfield positions. He is an outfielder that runs like a gazelle. He is very smooth going to balls in the outfield. I saw it firsthand in the first game at spring training, him playing right field, just glides to the ball. And that's a guy that is very confident in his fielding abilities. He actually threw out a runner in the first game of the season going into the right field gap. He hit his cutoff man, what you got to do as an outfielder, and they gunned him at third base. Very, very impressive from Alex Ramirez, not only with the glove, but with the bat. And this is the main concern with Alex Ramirez. The biggest concern was his bat, right? He was striking out a lot, not really working the counts, not putting the bat onto the ball. If you notice what Alex Ramirez is doing, he is learning. He is hitting the ball the other way. He is more of a level swinger in 2-strike counts. He is a guy that is learning from his mistakes, and that's all you can ask for from minor league guys. Work on your craft. What hasn't been working, fix it. Because he was a guy that had a huge uppercut swing. Let's go back to last year in spring training. He had a full launch angle swing, just swinging for the fences, no matter what the count was. And with a guy with his type of speed, you got to put the bat on the ball. Things happen when you put the bat on the ball. This was a big proponent of the New York Mets in 2022. They put the bat on the ball, and they made the defense make a play. When that happens, sometimes they make mistakes, and that's when you put pressure on a team. He is a dangerous player to watch. He got the tools to do so. If he can play the way he's been playing, it's going to be very, very hard to not put him on the roster on opening day. I know that's a shock for a lot of people. What do you do? Well, you know what? He could take DJ Stewart's spot. Why not? Right? Why not? He could play all 3 outfield positions. He is a righty. Understandable. But he's a guy that can bring that energy off the bench. He's another one that he has sneaky power, right? But you see, what I like is that he's not trying to swing for the fences. He's impressing in ways that the Mets wanted him to see and what they dreamed of him being. And this is a guy that needs to get on base. With the new rules, with the throwing over and the stealing of bases, he needs to be on base. He's a threat on the base path. He is a guy that needs to work on putting the bat to the ball. And what I've seen so far in spring training, granted, only 4 games, he's putting the bat on the ball when he's behind the counts. He's not over swinging. When he gets his pitch and he's looking for a certain pitch, yeah, he'll go after it, absolutely. But limit his strikeouts, put the bat on the ball. Let your speed be a problem for the defense. Because when you hit that ball on the ground sometimes, guess what? You're running out to first base. You put pressure on them to make that play. And that's another thing that we can actually see from Alex Ramirez. So far, so good for Alex Ramirez. It's a guy that me and Chris really, really, really put it out there that Alex Ramirez could be a possible wild card to make this roster going into opening day. Another one of our prospects, Drew Gilbert, shined a little bit more today. Again, a lot of people love him. Everybody's calling him, the poor man's Lenny Dykstra with more power. And he's definitely that. He is a spark plug. He is a guy that is balls to the wall, goes 110 miles an hour every single time. He is a guy that is going to be a fan favorite. He's already is. But he's going to be, once he gets called up at some point, if not this year, definitely next year, he's going to be a fan favorite. He is a guy, he is a Brandon Nimmo type of workhorse. He is going over, go quick, all the time. Never a guy that's not going to hustle. always going 110 miles an hour, and I love that type of guy. He is a guy to watch for. He's another one that can come up in May or June, or if there's any injuries, you just never know. All right, last one. Our possible battle at third base. Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos had a tough day at the plate. 0 for 3, no hits, 1 strikeout. He made a decent play running in for a ball, a grounder, and throwing a guy out at first. Made a nice defensive play again. Looked okay at third base. Again, nobody's wowing us in Beatty or Vientos, and that's very disappointing in my eyes because I need to see these guys play a little bit better defensively, and they really haven't. Beatty messed up when he played third base. Vientos has messed up. Nobody's really winning this job at the moment. Again, game 4, not going crazy. But, if things stay status quo and nobody really steps up to win that third base job, I'm assuming they're going to give it to Brett Beatty just because. And then Vientos would be a DH. But again, that can take a lot of different scenarios here, as I talked about. Alex Ramirez, Luke Voigt, G-Man Choi. A lot of guys, if they want these guys to be on this roster, there's a pretty good chance that either Vientos or Brett Beatty end up in the minor leagues. So it's going to be very interesting right now. Committee, I'm not going to say Beatty and Vientos are bust yet. I'm not going to go that far yet, but it's not looking good. And that's a problem in my eyes because, the battle of third base, nobody's really taking advantage of their opportunity here. And I talk about this all the time. Spring training is an opportunity to shine, to show people, let's get the job done. Listen, I can do this job. If you don't do it, well, I don't know what you do here. Like, is it just going to be, go back to default mode and Brett Beatty got the day 1 start in spring training? That's what you do, I guess. But, because I don't think they're going to bring up Williams or, Acuna or something like that and mix up the infield a little bit. I doubt they're going to do that. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm really trying to think here because it is very interesting because I'd really like somebody to step up. Right now, nobody's really doing it. Nobody has stepped up to that level yet, and I think it's important to realize that somebody's going to get the job. It's just a matter of, are the Mets going to make a drastic change and say, let's give it to somebody else? Are they going to say, listen, none of these guys showed up? Give it to Joey Wendell. I know that's not everybody's favorite option, but it's a possibility. So Mike Thompson over Voigt. Let's go easy on that. Again, because Thompson had a grand slam yesterday, you can't be jumping for joy. He is a guy who's hasn't really stuck on with anybody in a couple of years. Again, I think everything's up for grabs here when it comes to an extra guy on the bench as a bat or another guy that could possibly be the everyday DH. Possibility. But yeah, I'm not going far as a bust for Beatty and Vientos yet. But in the first 4 games, there's nothing that tells me that they've learned anything, to be honest with you. I think Vientos is a better bat than Beatty. But again, nobody really showed me anything defensively as of yet. So that's an issue because both concerns of both of them is their defense. And Beatty still hasn't shown that he can lift that ball in the major leagues. He has too many ground balls, and a guy who is a known gap-to-gap hitter in all levels of the minor league, you got to be that gap-to-gap hitter. You got to hit a ton of doubles. You got to be that guy that can hit you 20-plus home runs. Vientos, we know can hit. We know he has the power. Average-wise, that's a work in progress. But when they don't play well defensively either, it's kind of hard to just go back to the default mode and say, well, Beatty was going to be the starting third baseman from day 1 and just give it to him and see what happens, I guess. But again, there's a month left of spring training to figure out those options. Again, this is going to be a very quick stream today, guys. Not much to talk about, but today's game, again, Adrian Houser, 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. 4 out of the 6 batters faced were ground balls. Exactly what you want to see from Adrian Houser. ground ball pitcher. He produced ground balls. Again, when he's not on, that's when batters tend to light him up. Again, he's a 4th to 5th starter. You're not looking at a guy that's going to throw to a 3 ERA. He's going to throw to a low 4 ERA. But that's what you're asking for from a 4th to 5th starter, right? Give your team a chance to win. 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. That gives you a team a chance to win every 5th day. And that's what we're asking for from Adrian Houser. So a couple notables here. Nate Lavender shined once again. I do apologize for the typo. He didn't give up a home run. 6 up, 6 down in the two outings that he has. Again, he's a guy that doesn't throw hard, but he has a sneaky 89 miles an hour. A lot of the batters you saw it today, a lot more, that guys could not. They were late on his fastball, and we know it's not because of the speed. It's just that he hides the ball well, and his deceptive motion. The batters don't see the ball out of his hands well at all, and that's obvious. But again, it's not just what he's done in the first 2 outings in spring training. It's what he's done from this point prior. Every sections of the minor leagues, he's performed very, very well. And he's ran up through the system from rookie ball all the way up to AAA in a year and a half. That's impressive. And now he's opening up more and more eyes each and every day. This is a guy, if he again, is he going to be perfect? That'd be great. But if he probably won't be, he'll probably have a hiccup here or two. But he's a guy that keep your eye on. He could win a roster spot and a bullpen spot for opening day and going forward. Yaxel Rios had another good outing today. 1 walk, 1 inning pitch. Another guy that has an electric arm. A guy that could possibly be a possibility in the bullpen. Again, Drew Smith has got a lot of work to do. Not a lot of Met fans want to see this Drew Smith again. I tend to agree with you. But we know the stuff that Drew Smith has, right? We know the fastball. He's got a nasty slider. The problem is he can't locate his slider. He gets lazy with his slider, right? He tried to work on throwing his fastball more, but that really didn't work either because sometimes he's a little wild with his fastball. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I do believe there's a full 3 spots open. Once one of those 3 spots are going to be a long man, which will probably be Joey Lucchesi, Tyler McGill, somebody like that. 2 other spots. I think the other spot could be Drew Smith, which I don't know if the Mets are very fond of yet to keep him around. I don't think he has a roster spot set in stone, and that's where Nate Lavender, Yaxel Rios come in. You know, obviously Jorge Lopez, who didn't look terrible, he didn't look bad, but you know his walks, his his erratic around the plate, gave up a home run in his first pitch. Not great, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? It's first time seeing him. It's not the end of the world. We'll see if he can get better. Jorge Lopez got to work on his throwing strikes and stop walking people. I'm sorry, guys. It's just yawning like crazy today. I took a my medicine and it's like making me knock out. Sorry. So Jorge Lopez, a little bit of a rough spill today. Not terrible, but again, it's a guy that we know has been erratic in the past, but he has electric stuff. Guy that a lot of people want him to be the setup man if he can harness that type of power arm that we're looking for. But again, at the moment, we'll see. Nate Lavender shined. Yaxel Rios looked good again. Michael Talkin had a decent outing as well. Tyrone Taylor, G-Man Choi, Alex Ramirez, and Drew Gilbert all looked very good today. All having pretty good springs. Alex Ramirez is having an excellent spring. G-Man Choi has been really good as well. And Tyrone Taylor batting 500 so far in spring training, looking really good as well. Mark Vientos had a rough day, 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. So, spring training is in full effect. We got a month until opening day. That's interesting because there's questions at third base, questions at DH, and a couple of spots in the bullpen available. Possibly a bench spot available as well. So that's why there's going to be a lot about a G-Man Choi, Alex Ramirez, Mark Vientos, those type of guys. Of course, Jorge Lopez, I think is going to make the roster, to make the bullpen, regardless if he doesn't look good. I think the Mets really like his arm. I don't think he's going to get pushed out. I think he's a guy that is definitely going to be interesting to see going forward. Nate Lavender and Yaxel Reyes are two guys that have a really good shot of making this team. And it's going to be very interesting going forward to see how much more they progress as they have pitched well in the first 2 outings of spring training. So we're going to end the stream here, guys. Again, appreciate you guys voting on a poll about the yes or no to this new logo. Again, it's a little bit of a hybrid of my older channel logo. It's got the city skyline. It's got a little bit of the Mets logo, NY, and the skyline logo and all that fun stuff. Got a little bit of a fiery eye type of look. So it's a little bit of a hybrid from the previous channel logo, and now a little bit of a mixture of a couple of other things added into it. Again, Spotify is also an icon that's on there. I will be posting my videos to audio versions so you guys can listen to it as well. So once again, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging on and chilling with me. And it's about 40-minute stream today, Mets Spring Training Talk Live. Back home in New York, so you'll be getting videos, getting more live streams and all that fun stuff. Going to be working with the Mets Roundtable boys to see if we can do a stream together and talk a little bit about the spring training, what's been going on. So I appreciate you guys hitting on that like button, subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we get a little bit more of a better battle at third base, because that's going to be important. But we're going to see Mark Vientos and Brett Baty battling out this whole spring training here. Let's see if somebody steps up and takes the job from the other guy. With that said, guys, I appreciate you guys. Another Mets Spring Training Talk in the books, guys. Everybody have a great night. Let's go, Mets. See you next time. Have a good night, guys. Let's go, Mets.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.